Premier Heating and Air is who you need to call to check all the boxes. Google Guarantee, check. Better Business Bureau A+ rating, check. 4.9 star with Google, check. Premier Guarantee, check. We even offer free second opinions and free estimates on new units. Call or log on today. Premier is here. Cannot be combined with other offer. Expires 8/31/26.
Welcome back, guys. We're here with the Coach's Show of the Week. I'm back with Trinity coach, Coach Bruce Lane. How you doing, Coach?
Good. How are you doing?
I'm doing great. Like I just said off camera, I'm a rookie today, so we're trying to. You're gonna have to show me the ropes, maybe.
Well, you just ask them, and we'll try and answer.
All right, that sounds good to me.
Yeah.
So recap of last Friday night, a little tougher score maybe than we were hoping for or expecting. Walk us through what you're feeling.
Yeah, I think the score was kind of misleading. You know, it's 0-0 at the end of one quarter. Felt like we played pretty well up to that point. We're able to slow them down a little bit, and then 7-0 early in the second, and then they get another to go up 14, and we make a couple of plays and get down. Appears to be inside the 10-yard line. That gets called back. We end up having to punt the ball away to them, and they make a great throw and catch down in the corner of the end zone to go up 21-0 and come back out in the second half and score again. And then we have our best drive of the night and end up sticking it in the end zone. So with about 8 minutes left in the third quarter, maybe a little less than that, you know, it's a 28-6 football game. So that's pretty competitive. And then you get you know, I think the heat was a factor, and I think their team speed finally showed up in the second half. So that's one of the things that we're going to battle all year. I think, you know, running right at us, I think we're okay, and running right at people, I think we're okay. But we've got to get a little bit better at not giving up the big play.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Did a great job. Like you said, very competitive. You know, I was there commentating the game, and we saw some really good effort. The trench game seemed good with your linemen and everything. What are some bright spots you feel like up front for you guys?
Well, I felt like Corbin Albritton started his first game at center for us, and I thought he played pretty well. I thought Andrew Helton played really well. Those two, particularly, the others, you know, did well. But I'd say those two were the highlights of what we were doing. I thought we blocked a little bit better in the perimeter than we had in the scrimmage earlier in the season when we went over to Thomas Jefferson. We were able to run the ball for almost 150 yards, which I thought was good. We had two backs,
awesome.
You know, that I think will be able to give us 150, 200 yards combined, hopefully most Friday nights. We didn't turn the ball over. I think that's a positive. On the flip side, defensively, I think Gavin Hightower played really well at the defensive line spot for us. I thought Andrew played well, particularly in the first quarter defensively. You know, and in the secondary, you know, we gave up some deep balls and some. But defended the pass pretty well out there too. So, you know, we're a young football team. 9 freshmen, 19 of the 26 are freshmen and juniors. So,
yes,
5 seniors and 3 sophomores. So we're a really young team, and we're going to get better. I think this year, I think our region is going to be very competitive, but I think this year the schedule's a little front loaded with the tougher games. And last year, I think it was backloaded. So, you know, hopefully we're going to get better every week. I would like to see us play with a little bit more enthusiasm. But when it's 100-plus degrees out there, I just, you know, it still baffles me why in the state of Georgia you're playing 3 football games in the month of August. I don't get the wisdom behind that decision. Not sure there is any wisdom behind it, but You know, we talk about heat index and we talk about wet bulb, but yet we don't, you know, we're going to check it every day and you got to be in the gym, but then on Friday night, it really doesn't matter. We're going to give you a few extra water breaks.
Right.
So I just, that's kind of my soapbox and has been the last couple of years.
Yes, sir. I understand that. Kind of feeding off of that. Any major, health and conditioning reports or anything? It looked like most what we saw Friday night was cramping. Is that?
Yeah, I thought both sides cramped a little bit. I didn't think we cramped quite as much as maybe we had this time a couple of years ago, the first year here. I just think, you've got about 7 or 8 guys that are going both ways and they're playing lots of snaps, and I think it took its toll on us. And but of course they had the same thing for them. But I just think we're wanting some cooler weather and allowing our guys to be able to. We're trying to develop that depth, and I think we found some depth the other night. I think we've got some guys now that can step up and give us a snap or two on both sides of the football. And we wouldn't give up anything. They would be very representative and play well. So we're excited about the progress, and I do think we're going to have a competitive football team. I just think that was a Final Four team from last year,
Right.
And they picked up a kid from Greenbrier after Christmas and picked up a kid from Warren County over the summer, number 12. Who I thought was probably the difference in the ball game. I thought it was going to be the quarterback, and he played well.
Right.
But I thought, number 12 was certainly a difference maker for them.
Yes, sir.
With
Once
some big
he
plays.
got off the edge, he was kind of going, wasn't he?
Right, he was.
I got you. Well, we had a transfer come in of our own. How was your breakdown of Mr. Will J? How do you?
I thought he did some good things for us. I think he's got to get in shape, like several of our players. And I think one of the things, with him is he has been a one-way player at Dublin. And I think that allowed him to play with a little more energy. But when, I think he carried it 11-plus times and
Yes, sir.
ran some pass routes. When you're running football, you're getting hit too. So I think that takes a little bit out of you. So, we were pleased, particularly offensively with his production, and really got to find a way to get the ball in his hands a few more times. And, I think, as young, but everybody, we had several players that were taking their first snap in a varsity football game the other night.
Yes, sir.
So, but that happens. Everybody's like that. They have transition, they have graduation, they have folks move in, they have folks move out, and it's just a matter of trying to get your kids prepared every week. And that's what we have tried to do this week, getting ready for our opponent Friday night.
Yes, sir. So before we get into Robert Toombs and things like that, you're talking about some of the conditioning things and maybe having to be in the gym with the heat index and things like that. How do you kind of, without giving your whole playbook, how do you navigate that?
Well, I've only can remember one other time in the years that I've coached where the heat was so oppressive that we had to move practice back and practice at 8 o'clock at night, during the preseason. But what we actually did Tuesday and Wednesday morning is we went at 6 o'clock in the morning and tried to get an hour and a half out there. And because, we're fortunate with our facilities. Our practice gym is big and spacious, and you can go 11 on 11 in there, but you just can't throw the ball and you can't kick the ball. So
Right.
we just felt like, the upside of getting our kids outside throwing and kicking the ball around was good for that, for us to be prepared. And, it's still pretty humid.
Right.
It's not certainly not hot, but Georgia humidity is everywhere. So,
Yes, sir.
but it's the temperature is just as warm down in Vidalia or Augusta or whoever you're playing that particular week. Everybody's trying to navigate it, and I've tried to pick up the phone in the last few days and say, hey, what are you guys doing? And you've got some guys that are just staying in the gym. You've got some guys that are going early. You've got some guys that are going late, and you got some guys that are just, rolling the dice to see if the the wet bulb's going to allow them to get outside. So obviously, if you practice in the gym all week or you practice at 6 o'clock in the morning, on Friday night when it's 98 degrees, there's going to be some acclimation issues to what you're seeing. So I think that's, really one of the tight ropes that you have to walk is you want to keep your kids safe to get to Friday night, but when you get them to Friday night,
how do you keep them safe?
How do you keep, because we don't check a wet bulb on Friday night. We just make sure that there's, the officials did a great job the other night, I think, of giving you some extra time to get water. But, most people are going to play harder in a game than they do in practice. Mm-hmm. So I think they're going to, and I think we saw that with, some of our kids, that first quarter, our guys, I thought, played pretty full speed. And then I think as the night went on, we slowed down a step or two. And I just shared with our kids, I said, you got all these coaches in this room that we all played, and when we played, we thought every play we were going as hard as we could. And then you'd watch the film on Friday and say, on Monday after the game, you say, I probably didn't go quite as hard as I thought I did. So, but we got good kids and they work hard, and we're just just trying to navigate all these things just like everybody else is.
Absolutely. Well, last thing, what did you think of your kicking game and things like that? I saw Mr. George was doing a pretty good job. What's your breakdown of that, Coach?
Well, we're going to be more of a directional team. We have said, some people that last year I was tempted to just send Wade out there by himself on kickoffs because he was going to kick the ball through the end zone and give everybody else a rest. But, we having to coach a little bit more directional kick, trying to shorten the ability of the other team to return the ball, because again, you're seeing the same folks on our special teams that you're seeing on offense and you're seeing on defense. So we want to try and help them out a little bit. We've got to get better in the punting game. There's no doubt there, and we've got to get better in protection on the extra point. So I think we're going to have a good kicking game. I don't think it will reach the levels that we've seen the last 2 to 3 years, but he's kind of a generational talent that you have coming through here. So we'll keep working on it. We work on it every day, and Aiden and a little freshman Whit Bird have both kicked some. Whit was able to punt once the other night. We've got to, if we're going to punt the ball 35 yards, it's got to be a net 35 yards. We can't let them punt it 35 yards and they return it 20 yards, and then it's 15, or we're going to become like the coach who never punted. Yes, we're just going to, we've got to make sure, and you may see us do that some on the plus side. I don't think I've ever punted the ball from my own 31-yard line until the other night, but from a standpoint, it was inside the 10-yard line, and it backed them up. And the distance we had to go for a first down, I didn't think the way we were playing at that point that was a good decision to give them the ball on the 31-yard line or 25-yard line. So that's why we punted the ball, and we kind of knew about where it was going to wind up, and we were fortunate that he kicked it away from the kid. Because they had a good returner. Number 3 was a good returner.
Yes, sir.
Obviously, he didn't get his hands on the ball very much.
Yes, sir. Well, we'll be right back after a short break. We're going to look at some Trinity highlights, and we'll go from there.
Hi, I'm Dr. Dustin Gay, class of 1997, and we're proud supporters of the East Lawrence Falcons.
I'm Cassie Middlebrooks, Dr. Dustin Gay's physician assistant, and part of the West Lawrence class of 2007. We're proud to support the Raiders.
I'm Dr. Heath Richter, class of 1991, and we are proud supporters of Dublin Fighting Irish.
I'm Morgan Archer, Dr. Richter's PA, class of 2009, and we're proud supporters of the Trinity Crusaders.
From our team to yours, we're committed to providing the highest level of orthopedic care.
In fact, few organizations have assembled the talent and expertise that you can find at the Houston Clinic.
We offer advanced orthopedic care for patients of all ages and in every stage of life.
Have you registered to vote? Election Day is coming up soon, and the last day to register is October the 5th. Please get registered and go vote and re-elect Matt Hatchett, your District 155 state representative. As your representative, Matt Hatchett has fought to put more money back into the pockets of the people of Johnson and Lawrence counties, while House Democrats have opposed every tax cut and opted to support expanded government programs that would increase your taxes on hardworking families. Matt Hatchett will always fight for you. Please go to the polls and re-elect Matt Hatchett, your District 155 state representative.
You can breathe easy with Middle Georgia Mechanical Heating and Air, because when it comes to your home or business's comfort, you deserve nothing but the best. With over 35 years of experience, we've been keeping Middle Georgia cool in the summer and cozy in the winter. All of our technicians are certified and carry a state mechanical license, and they're ready to tackle any job, no matter how small or how large. Call us today at Middle Georgia Mechanical, the team that's as reliable as our systems. Middle Georgia Mechanical, serving all of Middle Georgia, right here in Dublin.
Midstate Pools and Spas can help you create the backyard you've always dreamed of having. Choose from special pool sizes and shapes, or let Midstate Pools and Spas design one just for you. Pools qualify for home improvement loans. Interest rates is still low, so call now. Midstate Pools and Spas, 275-0506. If your existing pool needs a new liner, Midstate Pools and Spas can help with that too. So stop by one of our locations in Vidalia, Dublin, and Sandersville today. Midstate Pools and Spas, Middle Georgia's most trusted pool dealer.
Okay, here we are on defense, and they start off, they're very talented. There's a nice play by Mason Lane for a huge, about a 15-yard loss. We get pretty good pressure. Gavin Corbin coming in there, and we get a sack. There's a nice play by Will J coming across and Andrew Helton. They ran their quarterback an awful lot. I thought our interior play between the tackles was pretty good. We're on offense here, and Will J getting a 7-8 yard run. Back on defense, there's another nice play by Lane making the play right there, and we were able to get off tackle with a power run game a little bit with Will J. Also trying to run a little ISO right there, and the hole closes up, and Tate does a good job bouncing it outside, get us close to a first down. And that's Will J again on about a 22-yard run from scrimmage. I think that was our best play of the night. A little comeback route to Hines Schaff. We had one guy that had caught a pass in a ball game going into last week. Later in the second quarter, run a little hook and ladder. I was really surprised where they marked the ball on that, but
I was too, Coach.
So I think it was a pretty good play to get us down. Here's Will J again getting to the corner, and I like, as we get further in the season, him matching up on a cornerback. I think this is our scoring drive. This is a nice play by Hine with concentration. I'm pretty glad that they don't have the instant replay in high school, because I think he came down with his foot on the line, but it was still a great throw and a great catch. Run a little isolation play, good hard running by Tate. Coming back and still mixing it up a little bit with Will J. Summit, tailback, gets down inside. Here we get to a third and goal situation, and we run a little tight end drag across the field, almost a little mesh concept. So that was our touchdown, and hopefully every week we're going to have a few more highlights, but those were our highlights from this past week.
Sounds good, Coach.
Hi, I'm Greg at Shamrock Honda Kawasaki, and if you're looking to ride street or dirt, we've got what you need. We're running a great sale in July. We're looking to cut prices on many products, so come see us. We will save you money here at Shamrock Honda Kawasaki at 106 Savannah Avenue, East Dublin, Georgia.
My name is Bill Brown, and I'm the market president for Lawrence County for First Large Bank, a division of Bank South. First Large Bank's been part of the community for many, many decades, and we're excited about the new opportunity that's presented us after being acquired by Bank South. We talk about change, but The one thing that certainly hasn't changed is the people that'll greet you every day. It's the people that you go to church with, the people that you eat supper with, the friendly staff that you're used to seeing on a daily basis. And we welcome you to come back to see us as our past customers and even our new customers. We would appreciate the opportunity to serve you.
Made fresh every day. Our friendly Gus Kitchens are cooking up delicious food morning, noon, and night. Convenience throughout Middle Georgia. Friendly Gus. Fuel good food.
You build more than projects. You build what communities rely on. When the job site runs on results, put Kubota to work. Backed by expert service and support from your local Kubota dealer. Right now, bring home select Kubota KX Series with 0% financing available or save up to $12,000.
Midstate Tractor and Equipment is now located at 492 Fire Tower Road in Dublin.
Hey, this is Perry at Williamson's Bakery, a proud supporter of Dublin and Lawrence County athletics since 1965. From donuts to cupcakes and cookies to eclair, we have everything to satisfy your sweet tooth. We even have treats for your dogs. So when Friday rolls around, don't forget to stop by and pick up some stuff for that late afternoon tailgate. So remember, go Raiders, go Crusaders, go Falcons, and go Irish. You can find us on Facebook, or you can stop by and see us at 1634 Veterans Boulevard, or give us a call at 478-272-3344.
Hey guys, welcome back. We're back with Coach Lane here. Coach, bring us into playing Robert Toombs. Got to go on the road first time this year.
Right.
So what are you looking for this week?
Well, I think it's two very similar football teams. They have had some success the last 3 or 4 years making it to the finals, and actually won the championship last year in Class A. So traditionally they're very tough opponents. We feel like we match up pretty well with them, and I'm sure they feel like they match up pretty well with us. So I think the team that makes the fewest mistakes, in terms of turnovers and penalties, and that was one of the things this past Friday night. In our first 4 plays, we had 3 procedure penalties, and you go back and look at the yardage you gained once the penalties were there. You had a first down, but we ended up, we just can't shoot ourselves in the foot. We can't self-inflict mistakes on ourselves.
Yes, sir. What are you looking for from your freshman quarterback, Jude Evans, this week?
I thought he did well. I thought he played well. Played within the scheme. Thought we got to get him to get his shoulders turned a little bit more coming downhill. But I thought he was very poised. I think he'll get involved in the run game a little bit more as we get further into the season. But he steps in the huddle and the guys look him in the eye and they respect him, and I think that says a lot for a freshman to be able to step in there and they know he's the man. So, over the years, if you can play a freshman quarterback, they're going to have some learning curve, but by the time they get to their senior year, they're going to be pretty stinking good. But I think Jude's going to be that way. Already is, but I think by mid-season we're going to see him take it to a different level.
Yeah, it seemed like, especially the long touchdown drive you guys had with him leading the way, it seems like he was kind of coming of age. Is that the right word to say?
I think so. One of the things with our and everybody's this way, even if the folks that are paying guys millions of dollars, nobody tackles to the ground anymore and nobody lets their quarterback get hit. So I was really excited to see how he responded to a live rush, and I thought he had a lot of poise. Mm-hmm. He had one throw that I think he'd like to get back, and that's another thing. He's got to be where he can look off his receivers a little bit, but you're asking, a freshman to step in there against a pretty veteran team, and I thought he did a really good job. We had some drops as well, but, I'd say he is ahead of schedule for what we would typically see with a freshman.
Yes, sir. So looking offensively, what are we from week 1 to week 2? What are we looking for maybe to gain some? I know you mentioned maybe less penalties, things like that. What else are we looking for this week?
Well, I think consistency in our blocking schemes and in our knowing who to block. I think one of the things we've tried to simplify some things this week. We've tried to rep, somebody's, you can have a playbook like Waffle House and it can have everything on the front and back, but you can't order it all at one time. So we have a pretty extensive playbook like most folks do, but we're trying to cull that down to about 4 or 5 run plays and about 4 or 5 pass plays, and just get really proficient at running the offense. So, I think always ball security, and I think always just making sure that you know who to block.
Right.
So
Yes,
I feel good about our backs. Matching up, you've got a 185, 190 pound tailback and a 215, 220 pound back in there, and Jude is 6'2", 6'3", about 165, 170 pounds. So I think that's 3 pretty good skill guys right there.
Absolutely, Coach. And now overall as a team, you may not have the numbers, but you have pretty good size, in the trenches and in your skill. So how do we feel about that coming into versus maybe their offensive and defensive linemen?
Well, I think, again, I think that we have Andrew Helton has kind of been like the anchor for he started as a freshman, and now he's, in his 3rd year. He's a leader on both sides of the ball as a middle linebacker. Aiden George, is a returning starter. Blake Sims, big kid, hadn't played a lot of offensive line, kind of specialized defensively last year for us. Corbin, I thought, did a really good job. One of the challenges he'll face this week is he won't be uncovered. He'll have a lineman on him. So we're trying to make sure that he's prepared to block a zero tech nose. And then, on the other side, I really feel like Alec Preston is developing into a good offensive lineman. It's just, he's been a skill guy, but because, he's strong and he will get after you, we made the decision to try and play him on the offensive line. So
yes, sir. It happens like that. So defensively, let's switch a little bit. You mentioned Andrew Hilton. What are you looking for maybe from the defensive side of the ball this week versus Robert Toombs?
Well, I think we can't give up the big play. I think, we've got to try and keep everything contained and turn it back to the inside, because if they cross our face to get to the sideline, it makes it tremendously tough to be able to run folks down. So, I just think that's one of the things we've got to do is we've got to contain. They're going to run some jet sweep. They're going to run some quarterback power type stuff. But I really feel good about when folks run the ball right at us. I think we've done pretty well in everybody. I say everybody, the scrimmage and the game we played against. I think it's, again, when folks get on the perimeter, we get challenged a little bit. And again, you've got guys that have never played the outside linebacker spots and the defensive end spots. Will J was a Mike linebacker, and we experimenting playing him on the edge a little bit. But I think we're going to end up seeing that folks are going to start running away from him a good bit. So we're going to have to, kind of find some ways to move him around a little bit as well.
Yes, sir. It seems like he's going to be a key both offensively and defensively. Now there's film on him with you guys, kind of seeing what's going on.
Sure.
So what are we looking for, though, overall? You think maybe secondary? You said, big plays. There was some mishaps maybe last Friday. So what's your thoughts going forward?
Well, I think that, again, we had one starter, I believe, in the secondary returning. Hine played, I thought, pretty well at the free safety. Dash was the kind of the lone returning starter year long. But I thought Jackson Jones played pretty well, came up and would hit you a little bit. And, Griff has got the cast off, and I think that'll help him a little bit confidence-wise.
Awesome.
So, it's traditionally, you see a lot of improvement in your football team from game 1 to game 2. So we've really focused, and most of our film work up until the early part of the week was just on us.
Right.
We've got to fix us. We've got to make ourselves better, and obviously we have to know who we've got to block and who we've got to tackle, but we've got to get ourselves in the right position, ready to play before the ball snapped. I mean, if you're where you're supposed to play, that's a big percentage of the battle, just being where you're supposed to be prior to the snap of the football.
I understand that, Coach. Well, any final words maybe to the community before we get out of here today, as far as going forward? The floor is yours.
Well, I just think, your game one, and if we had won it 42-6 or 47-6, whatever the final ended up being, we still have the same challenges going forward as we have. Your goal is to go 1-0 each week. We fell short of that last week, but when you drive a car, the windshield is so much bigger than the rearview mirror, and we want to keep our eyes off the rearview mirror and look at what's ahead of us. And we can't change what's happened. The only thing we can do is get better each week, and that's what I really believe we're going to do.
Sounds good, Coach. Thank you guys for watching. We'll see you guys next week.
Farmers State Bank has deep roots in our community. We've helped neighbors buy land, homes, automobiles, go to college, build a business, and develop a game plan for the future. You see, FSB has roots in our community that run deep, allowing growth for today and tomorrow. FSB is locally owned and operated, which means decisions are made right here by bankers who know Dublin and Lawrence County. Other banks have branches, we have roots. Farmers State Bank, member FDIC, and an equal housing lender. Allen's Heating and Cooling is your licensed Amana equipment dealer. Trust Allen's Heating and Cooling to install and service your heating and cooling unit. Allen services all brands, and with the purchase of a new Amana, offers a lifetime compressor warranty. Call Sean Clark or any of his friendly staff at Allen's Heating and Cooling, your Amana dealer. Amana lasts and lasts and lasts.
Natural gas all over town.
Get yourself a natural gas tankless water heater and save space.
And have endless hot water.
Natural gas is more efficient than electricity.
And it's lighter than air. When you install natural gas appliances,
you can get rebates up to $1,500.
The City of Dublin will finance you up to $10,000.
For 60 months at 0% interest.
Use natural gas for all your outdoor cooking.
It's a luxury.
We're on call 24/7.
You'll call us and we'll be there.
Whether you're building a home or starting a business, City of Dublin Natural Gas has you covered.
We serve commercial and residential gas all across town.
Yeah. Finish the drill with natural gas. Call your gas guys
at 478-277-5048.
Hi, I'm Rodney McNamara at Dublin Wind Nelson. At Dublin Wind Nelson, our goal is the long-term success of your business. We are committed to doing things right, one customer at a time. If you have a question or if you're looking for hard-to-find parts, give us a call. We are ready to help you today, so come by and see us or give us a call at Dublin Wind Nelson.